What's up, world? This is the Swamee. I am back with a review of Godzilla, King of the Monsters. So I've been away for a little bit. I've been working on some tech updates, and I've also been fighting off some allergies. Had me looking like Rocket Raccoon for a while. But I'm on the mend, and I'm back to give you this quick review, this quick rundown. And let's jump right in and get started. Swami Breakdown for Godzilla, King of the Monsters, directed by Michael Dougherty, produced by Thomas Tull, John Jasny, Brian Rogers, Mary Parent, Alex Garcia. Story by Max Borenstein, Michael Dougherty, and Zach Shields. Screenplay, Michael Dougherty, Zach Shields. Cinematography, Lawrence Sher. Distributed by Warner Brothers. Starring Ken Watanabe, shoutouts to The Last Samurai. Kyle Chandler, Vera Farmiga, Zhang Ziyi, and a bunch of others that I can't get to in the interest of time. But nonetheless, if you want to find out exactly who's acting in it, then just check out the IMD, or just your local online internet for the rest. Swami breakdown of the movie. My Swami review is in three main categories: content, performance, visual. Content is where the this particular movie suffers the most. Obviously, there's not a lot there. It is a summer blockbuster. Not a lot of meat on the bone, but they definitely know where their bread is buttered. They slathered that part on pretty good, pretty thick, and that's the monsters. So all of the story points, plot lines, character development, arcs, all of those things, it's geared towards getting you to the next scene with the monsters in it, which is really why you're going to see the movie. You're not going to see it because you're looking for a Shakespearean experience. I was looking for the Godzilla Kung Fu stance, flying no shadow kick. It wasn't there. Does that count as a spoiler? Well, let me take the time now to say that there might be a couple spoilers for this particular review. So proceed at your own peril. I'm going to try not to, but one or two might slip out. The second category, performance of the actors, was hamstrung by the lack of content in the script itself. So obviously there's not a lot to work with. So the performances were rather pedestrian. Nobody really wowed me. Nobody really stole the show or over exceeded expectations. Nobody failed either, but there just wasn't a lot there because there wasn't a lot to work with. I'm talking a little bit more about some of the character development and arc decisions and my reactions to them a little bit later in the review. But let's get to the visual. Obviously, the visuals was all about Godzilla and the monsters. That's what the movie revolved around. I was a little worried at first. I felt Godzilla was a little portly, seemed a little jowly on the trailers. Looked like how you gonna move around a little bit. He looked like Godzilla in the off season, not in fighting shape. But by the end of the movie, it looked like they kind of trimmed him up a little bit, and he did look impressive by the end of the movie. So I do have to give kudos to that. The CGI obviously is spectacular. You're in 2019 Hollywood. You're not going to get any more Shrek Hulks or anything like that in Hollywood anymore. They've kind of figured that part out. I will say, though, that I have to give a demerit to the lighting of this movie. I don't know what it is, but again, I'm noticing a desire to go with the Snyder school of lighting. It seemed very Snyder-esque, very Dawn of Justice-y. Again, I guess maybe they're trying to make these movies look gritty, and by making it dark, it gives that sort of gritty, realistic feel to it, but it just makes it look dark and shadowy. You can't really make out what's going on. I really wanted to see the monsters. I wanted to see the scale of the monster versus the buildings versus the humans versus the city and water and all that, and a lot of that was blocked because it was just shades of purple. Why is that? Hollywood, stop it. Show us the movie. I hope they don't continue that trend. Show with the purple. Enough with the purple haze. Sorry, I had to throw a Hendrix reference in there. That is a demerit, so I couldn't overlook that. Other than that, though, as I said, the monsters were great. Ghidorah, I know I'm mispronouncing that, was good. Mothra was beautiful. Rodan was good. Although obviously Ghidorah was the main sort of anti or villain for Godzilla, which is the case. I'm not that well versed in source material, so I can't say specifically how well they stay loyal to that. I will say though that the origin backstory for Ghidorah was good. I don't know again if that was source material or if that was an interpretation they did for this particular movie and this particular franchise, but it worked. And I will give them credit for that in a way to sort of distinguish him from the other monsters. I felt like they didn't do the other monsters a lot of justice, but it's hard to give everybody face time because they crammed everybody into this movie. Obviously, they're setting things up for sequels. I did like the fact that they call them Titans, and they did sort of establish a storyline for how these Titans are here, how they came about, how all of a sudden they're sprouting out, where they came from, and so forth. So they did set things up. They put those dominoes in place. Those chess pieces were put in place good. So I do have to give them credit for that. But nonetheless, for this particular movie, there were beyond that, they didn't really do too much in terms of setting up the story, so to speak. But the monsters look great. The first fight scene with Godzilla and Ghidorah was the best one, in my opinion. Cinematography was good. You could see the actual fights as it was happening. They did a good job with the scale of it. It didn't look like, human beings in the monster suits. So you had a good scale of the monsters, which I think was important, between the monster, the buildings, the city, the water, the ocean, the ships. They did a good job of giving you that sort of scale, which is good. So the visual was good, but there was a demerit for the lighting that I can't overlook. So, something I wanted to talk about for this particular movie is sort of something that was irking me as I was watching the movie, and I couldn't shake it. I wanted to just sort of just enjoy. I had my pretzel bites, and I had my iced tea, I had the popcorn. I was ready just to enjoy a good summer movie. I was waiting for the No Shadow Godzilla kick. It didn't happen. But Godzilla is a Japanese franchise. It is a Japanese movie. It was created by the Japanese. You can tell the history of World War II, the atomic bomb, and the fallout for that. I mean, that's the impetus for Godzilla. And I felt like anytime American studios try to shoehorn Americans into this story, try to shoehorn non-Japanese or non-Asians, the gaijin, or if that's the right way to say that, it doesn't work. It's too subsidiary. It's not a match. It doesn't go over smoothly. And the lack of faith in a Japanese actor or Asian actor's ability to carry a film like this, but especially when the film doesn't revolve around them, to me, still a little demeaning, a little belittling, a little offensive. And I couldn't help but shake that. Shout outs to Tywin Lannister, who was there, but his role was like, what are you doing? He was obviously there for star power. It just seemed like the white people in the movie just got on my nerves. I have to come out and say it. The black people in the movie didn't really have anything to do. They just had about 4 lines total. They were all military, and so they weren't even really consequential at all. But the white characters were the ones that were revolving and driving the story plot line from a character standpoint, and they just looked. I got a sense of white privilege from the main family. Especially the mother. Obviously, she was the main sort of driver of the story arc, and her decisions in the beginning, middle, and end did not endear her to the audience for sure, and didn't endear her to me. I couldn't really relate to her. The daughter came across as a little spoiled. It was kind of like, I don't know. They felt like they were on par with the monsters, and they could like interact with them without fear of getting squashed like a bug, because it's like, hey, we're just as powerful as you. I'm probably bugging out, but it just kind of irked me. And I couldn't shake it throughout the movie. It might have been writing, that might have been the screenwriting, it might have been the acting, I don't know what it was, but it just felt shoehorned. The non-Asians felt shoehorned, and then the Asians that were there felt kind of stereotypical, like they were sort of people of the earth that understand these monsters, whereas the Americans have no clue, and so they're sort of the wise sages giving perspective. Felt a little stereotypical. I would like to have seen some kind of mixing where you have an Asian or a Japanese person kind of acting more gung-ho American, and maybe an American being a little more understanding or perceptive. But nonetheless, can't shake that either. So that was an issue for me. Those things, that, the lighting, the lack of the story, the script, so forth, pull the movie down from what I wanted to give it. I wanted to give it 4 stars, but I can't. So in final, I got to give this movie three Swamee stars out of 5. There were demerits. I couldn't give it the 4 that I wanted to. I did enjoy the monsters. I did enjoy Godzilla, but I couldn't ignore some of the demerits. But those demerits weren't big enough to turn it into a disappointment. I still walked out satisfied, walked out feeling I got what I wanted when I walked in. If you're looking for summer movie, if you're looking for the monsters, you're looking for the fights, you're looking for Godzilla, you're going to get what you wanted. Not much else. You're not going to get the no shadow kick. Sorry. No Godzuki. Thank goodness. And they did set up the sequels for the franchise pretty well at the end. And we'll see. Hopefully we get the showdown that everybody wants to see. So nonetheless, if you're looking for a good time with not much else, this is the movie for you. Although there's some things that you might notice, like I did, that you might not be able to ignore. But all the while, not a disappointment, but not stunning either. And it is what it is. That having been said, I hope you enjoy it if you go see it. I did, even though I couldn't ignore some things. And Godzilla, King of the Monsters, it's about Zilla. And if that's what you're coming for, that's what you're going to get. That having been said, the Swamee has spoken.